In a small rural village, there lived two happy children. One of them was called Marin, 12 years old, short and fat, smart and kind-hearted. He lived with his grandfather in an old hut. The other was Macran, 14 years old, tall and thin, cheerful but a bit rough, and sometimes quick to anger. On a beautiful summer day, Macran came to his friend Marin's house and started cleaning. While they were busy, they noticed old boxes covered in heavy dust. So they were curious to see what was inside the boxes. "Are these boxes your grandfather's, Marin?" "Yes, it's his. He's kept it for a long time, and I've never seen him open it." "Ask your grandfather for permission to open the boxes." When he gave them permission, they were astonished to see fragile books and other old things. They found a tightly bound map. When they looked at it, they realized that it was a map of a treasure located high in the mountains. Marin asked his grandfather about her, and he told him many stories about her. "When I was a young man, I decided to embark on an adventure to search for that treasure, but halfway through, I encountered enormous difficulties and could not continue the journey. So I turned back, forgot about the matter, and hid it until this day. I found this map with my father, and I hid it in turn." Marin asked the grandfather, "Is there treasure in that area?" He replied, "According to some stories, the treasure is there. But I advise you, my son, not to go." Then he turned and left them. But Macran was overjoyed and greedy. He insisted that his friend go with him to bring the treasure. Marin rejected his idea and said, "The road is full of dangers, and I hope you give up this adventure." Many days passed, and Macran continued to persuade his friend to go until he agreed. However, the grandfather remained stubborn. The next day, Marin did not get out of bed. He began to pretend to be sick. Whenever his grandfather brought him food, he refused to eat it. This continued for days until the grandfather became worried about his grandson's health. The grandfather decided to let them go, but he stipulated that they had to take a test. If they passed, he would give them permission to go. If they lost Marin, they would stay at home and forget about the treasure. Then Marin answered him, "What is this condition, grandfather?" The grandfather said, "You must split the moon. If you do that, I will let you go with Macran on this journey. I promise you that, my son. But promise me that if you lose, you will forget about the treasure. You have 2 days to find a solution." Marin thought and gave his consent to his grandfather to accept the challenge. The grandfather smiled and said to himself, "I put him in a difficult test, and finding a solution is impossible. So I am happy, and he will not leave the house." From that day, Marin thought about the solution with Macran, and the moon was full that night. They watched it as it rose, hoping to find a solution. On the second night, they went out and despair had taken hold of them. They sat near the river thinking. Marin took a group of pebbles and started throwing one after the other, until he saw a scene that pleased him greatly, and he flew with joy. Marin called Macran. "I have found the solution." Macran said to him, "How is that, Marin?" "Look at the shape of the moon reflected in the water. When I throw a stone, the water moves, and it shows us that the moon has been split in two." When Macran saw that, he was astonished and flew with joy. They hurried home and told the grandfather about the solution. The grandfather said, "You passed the exam because of your intelligence, so I gave you permission to go on the trip." The next morning, they started to bring the supplies for the trip, including food, ropes, and axes. When they finished, the grandfather said goodbye and hugged them tightly, despite their separation for many days, and they walked with God's blessing. The grandfather began to pray to God to protect them from all harm. After hours of walking, an old man with a white beard passed by them. He stopped and asked the boys, "Can I find something with you to satisfy my hunger, as it has gotten the better?" Macron said, "I am sorry, sir. You will not find anything with us." But Marin felt pity for the old man and gave him a loaf of bread from his share. The old man laughed and thanked the boy for his generosity and then began to pray for him. When they were about to walk, the sheik called him, "Come here, boy. I want to give you something that might help you on the journey." Marin said, "What is this thing?" The sheik said, "It's a necklace. Wear it. It might help you when you need it." Marin took it from him and put it around his neck. Then he thanked the sheik and said goodbye. On the way, Macron laughed at his situation. Macron said, "I am sorry, Marin, for what I am going to tell you. You trust strangers too much when you meet them and help them. If you continue in this state, you will have no food left and we will die of hunger. As for that necklace, it is useless. He gave it to you so that you would not think ill of him." Marin replied. He said, "I gave him the loaf of bread in order to relieve his hunger, and I consider it a duty. If I were in his place or you, what would have happened to us if we met someone who did not help us? We would have certainly perished. As for the necklace, I consider it a gift from which I do not expect any benefit or harm." They walked all day until sunset and saw an old house inhabited by spiders, harmful insects, and large rats. So they decided to spend the night there. When they slept, they heard terrifying sounds shaking the place. So they began to tremble with fear. But Marin said to his friend Macron, "We are two brave boys. We should not be afraid. We must believe in God. He protects and cares for us, and we pray to God and then sleep in peace." When midnight came, Macron woke up to strange, terrifying sounds like the barking and howling of wolves. He screamed loudly until he woke up his friend and said to him, Macron said, "Listen, they are scary sounds. I can't sleep." Marin said, "Sleep, my friend. They are just imaginations. Calm down. I am with you, and God is with us." Then they slept. On the morning of the second day,
Please subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to receive all that is new. Let's continue the rest of the story.
they continued their journey. After hours, they saw a lake. Marin said, "We are on the right path. We found the lake as it is on the map." When they arrived at the place, they felt tired. The weather was hot, so they wanted to swim to regain their energy. While they were swimming, they felt the water rotating until a scary monster appeared to them, a giant monster that wanted to devour them. Then the sun shone in the necklace and its light was reflected strongly towards the monster's head. So he fainted and then fell into the water. The two children were amazed by the lake monster and were astonished by the effect of the necklace, without which their fate would have been fulfilled. They thanked God for their safety. Then they continued their journey. While walking on the road, Macron said, "The necklace has great benefit." The sheik was right. Marin said, "You see, goodness is like a plant. Its fruits are reaped." Macron apologized to his friend. They continued walking for long hours until darkness fell. They spent another night in the open. On the morning of the third day, they continued walking towards the mountains. Macron said, "We have reached the mountain. There are narrow paths. The journey is tiring. How much longer do we have until we reach the place of the treasure?" Marin said, "The journey takes 7 days. We only have 4 left, so let's be patient with all the dangers until we reach the goal." During the conversation, an ugly-looking man appeared to them, his appearance terrifying. He said to them, "Peace be upon you." They replied, "Peace be upon you." The ugly man said, "Where are you going?" Macron said, "Why do you ask about something that has nothing to do with you?" The ugly man said, "I want to accompany you anywhere, and I will be your friend." Marin said, "Okay, it is a good acquaintance. I accept you as a friend." But Macron shouted in the face of the ugly man, "No, you will not go with us. I do not want you as a friend." Marn became very angry, but the ugly man thanked him for his treatment. The ugly man said, "Don't worry, I will not separate you from your friend. I will go on my way. Continue the journey, and good luck." When the ugly man walked a few steps, his feet slipped and he fell from the edge of a mountain road. He called for help. Marn came quickly and said to him, "Hold on tight, I will help you. Do not be afraid." Marn tied one end of the rope to a rock with a sharp head, sent him the rest of the rope, and asked him to climb up. The ugly man thanked Marn for saving his life, then said goodbye and wished him all the best. He continued on his journey until a huge giant appeared to them and said, "You are a delicious meal. I will eat you because I am hungry." They both cried and begged the giant to leave them alone. Marn said to him, "Sir, take all our food and necessities and spare our lives, please." The giant thought for a while and then said, while taking their belongings, the giant noticed a necklace on Marn's neck. He asked him for it, but the boy refused and said to him, "Marn, my lord, it is a gift from a sheik that I cannot give up." The giant was impressed by Marn's courage and decided to return the things and help them. So he asked. The giant said, "Where are you going?" Makran answered, "We are looking for a treasure. The journey takes 7 days, and we only covered a distance of 3 days, which was difficult." The giant called to a giant bird. He asked him to ride on its back. The giant said, "He will take you to the place you want in 4 hours instead of 4 days." The two boys were very happy. Then he said goodbye to him. The bird landed in an empty place that did not indicate anything with life in it. Then the bird left. Makran said to his friend, "The giant has tricked us. It is a trap. He wants to trap us. We are fools. We trust anyone. Come on, the monster. Our fate is over." Marn said, "Yes, you are right. This place indicates death. The grandfather warned us, and we did not listen to his advice." Makran said, "I am truly regretful. We will surely die." And they began to cry tears of separation. When darkness fell, they could not close their eyes from crying in fear. They saw walking corpses, very terrifying things, and strange sounds. They cried a lot until they fell asleep. The giant came and approached them without making a noise and put his hands on the face of each one of them and began to mumble incomprehensible words so that they would not wake up. So they relaxed as if they were two corpses. He carried them to 2 giant trees covered with red leaves. They remained asleep until morning came upon them. At the break of dawn, they woke up. Makran said, "Thank God for our safety. We are alive." Marn said, "Yes, my friend, we have been saved by the protection of God Almighty." Makran said, "Who brought us to this place?" Marn answered, "I don't know." Then one of them noticed the 2 trees. Makran said, "Look, don't the 2 trees remind you of anything?" Makran said, "I have seen similar ones on the map. Come on, open the map." When they opened it, they saw the same picture. Makran jumped with joy and started dancing and singing. "Come on, the beauty, the treasure is here. Come on, bring the axe and let's start digging." When he struck the first blow, he stepped back and felt a strong damage. He said, "This ground is very hard, so what should I do?" Marn said, "I will try my turn now. Perhaps I will succeed." But to no avail, he also felt a strong pain. Makran said, "We have reached the place of the treasure, and we did not gain anything from it. Our journey has been ill-fated. We have faced difficulties that almost cost us our lives." Marn said, "You are right. Get ready. We will leave starting today, and I hope we arrive safely." Makran said, "It is a 7-day journey. We have only a little food left. We will surely perish. Oh, I regret it." After a few hours, the giant appeared to them. Macran was happy and said, "I wonder, will the giant help us?" When he approached, the giant said, "Why are you sitting there worried?" Marn said, "Please, sir, help us dig because the ground is very hard." The giant said, "Step aside a little." And when he was about to dig, the ground began to crack and the dirt flew and piled up on top of each other. The boys were happy and optimistic. After he went deep into the digging, the box suddenly appeared. He took it out. The giant said, "I have finished my mission." They thanked him profusely and then asked him to open the box. The giant said, "I will not be able to open it no matter how hard I try, because it opens by some wisdom." While they were busy with the box, the giant left the place. Macran said, "Oh, our bad luck. We brought the box and we cannot open it. What should we do?" I have despaired. Macran started turning the box over, hoping to find a solution for it. Then he noticed the opening of the box and found that it matched the size and shape of the necklace. Then he said, Macran said, "Come on, Macran. An idea came to me. We must put the necklace in the opening of the box." Macran said, "Do it. What are you waiting for?" When he put it down, he opened the box. They were amazed to see the huge amount of precious stones and gold. While they were dancing with joy, the old sheik appeared. He said, "Why are you dancing and singing?" Martin said, "Thank you, uncle. If it weren't for the necklace you gave me, I wouldn't have opened the box. It was really a help to us." The sheik said, "Thank you, my son. If it weren't for your generosity and kindness, I wouldn't have helped you. Be sure of that. For your information, you saved me 3 times. Martin said, "How is that?" "Uncle, you are wrong. I only saw you once when I gave you the loaf of bread." The sheik laughed. He said, "Didn't you meet an ugly-looking person and you saved him, Martin?" "Martin, yes. You are right." The sheik then said, "And you also met a giant whom you wanted to give your belongings to. Then he asked you for the necklace, but you refused and held on to it. This is evidence of your loyalty to the trust." Martin, "Yes, yes. Continue, sir. How did you know about everything that happened to us?" The sheik said, "I was your companion throughout the journey. I took on the qualities of these people. I found that you, Martin, deserve this reward treasure. As for Macran, he was saved thanks to you, my son. If you had been like him in character, you would have both perished immediately." Macran cried and sat on his knees and began to beg the sheik and ask him for forgiveness. The sheik said, "Get up, my son. I have forgiven you, and I hope you will learn a lesson. Macran, I promise you, uncle, that I will change for the better." Martin said, "Uncle, the journey will take another 7 days. Can you help us?" The sheik said, "Wait." Then he called to the bird and said, "Go up. It will take you home in 7 hours. I wish you good and success, and I hope you will help the needy and orphans." The bird left the place, and after hours they arrived home. The grandfather came out to receive them and hugged the 2 boys tightly out of longing. When he saw the treasure, he said to them, "Come on, tell me in detail. How did you get it?" Martin told him the whole story. The grandfather said to him, "Thank God you are safe," and the 3 of them lived happily.